that it? Am I live? I am going to go on the other one. Live. All right, there we go. I have found a way to I announced this, but I found a way to how do I say this? To get a link onto the live so that people can join me. And I don't know. I was trying to go on someone's live earlier today, and I couldn't find it. And half an hour later, I'm still looking for it, but it's over. I thought she had just canceled it, and we had discussed this, and I already knew about doing this, but I told her, look, I just don't know how it can happen. So, anyways, I was looking for a way to get you guys the link so we could put it on there, but you have to do it after it goes live. And I'm having some troubles tonight, so I wasn't able to do it. The troubles I'm having is that I am having difficulty with my stream, with my internet tonight. I'm not sure why, but it's and I need to tell you this because it could affect our live. It is running really slow and causing me problems, and it took me forever to buffer some stuff earlier. And so, anyways, we may lose this live. I'm hoping not, but let's see what happens. In the meantime, welcome to Now What with Jeanna, where I answer questions, offer tips, and say stupid shit that I'm sure I will later regret about addiction, sobriety, recovery. If you have questions, please feel free to let me know. As I said, this is Now What with Jeanna. I'm going to put my arm in the way here for a second because I don't want to fix that too much because I forget. I got another camera here. There we go. And if I do it wrong, I don't know. I got my head all in different directions. But anyways, so if you are joining us for the first time, this is Now What with Jeanna, and I come on every Thursday night at 7, although I'm changing that, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But I come on every Thursday night at 7 to talk about sobriety and to give tips to help you out. And I would feel free to ask questions. If I can answer them now, I will. If my show's running long and I can't get to them, I will save them for another time. Sometimes I have to do that anyways because I want to give you the best answer possible. And I like to do a little research sometimes. I want to make sure that's accurate. Sometimes I give statistics that maybe you don't care about, but it's important to me to get it straight. And I want to say hello to Andrea. Thank you for joining me, Andrea. I am so glad you're here. And also, Andrea, if you would like to talk afterwards for a few minutes, please feel free to give me a ring out. I'd like to see how you're doing today. So, anyways, this tonight. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say before I said anything. Today's show is brought to you by The Walking Dead. Yes, Andrea, it is still my favorite show. I have still seen every episode, have not missed one. I've also tripped over into the new show Fear the Living Dead, seen every episode of that. And I've even seen every episode of I don't know if you know this, but The Walking Dead has mini series, like real mini series. Each episode is 5 to 10 minutes on the internet. I don't even know where it comes from. I just stumbled across it, and I've watched all of those. I think AMC puts it out, but yeah, I am still a Walking Dead freak, and I just wanted to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Walking Dead. I'll come up with different people next time, but that was what I wanted to say tonight. Anyways, tonight's episode, I'm moving on with my series on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you're watching this on Instagram, it's backwards. Sorry, if I turn it around, you just get the summary, so I can't fix it that way. But anyways, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but I'm calling it 7 Habits of Highly Effective Sobriety. Highly sufficient. I don't know. I named it something, and I'm just kind of flowing with it, but occasionally I forget. But yeah, years ago I was reading this book, and I actually got much further than I thought because I'm finding notes from way into it. But I realized at some point in the middle of reading it that that I couldn't follow it. In order to follow it, I had to quit drinking. Because while I didn't want to admit I was having trouble with alcohol, I was sort of admitting it back then. But to read it and to follow the processes that he talks about and the habits that he talks about it, I had to quit drinking, and I wasn't ready to do that. So I put the book down, and I recently picked it up again, and I'm going through each of the habits on my own and sharing them with you as they apply to drinking and sobriety. And I'm hoping you get something out of it. I know that I am getting a lot out of it. And part of the thing that I was reading as I'm rereading is discovering how much of this stuff that I do now. I didn't do it when I was drinking. I just couldn't. In fact, we can talk about um, tonight's habit. I There's one aspect of it I will talk about it very directly with um, what I'm doing now, as long as I don't get confused and forget what I'm going to say. So it'll come out the habits tonight. The habits tonight is to begin with the end in mind. This is the second habit. Begin with the end in mind. And so I guess I will just go ahead and start with that. If you see me looking over, I'm looking over because I got notes and I don't want to forget where to go with it. So I'm using my notes. Begin with the end in mind. So the first thing he talks about is having a vision. Having a vision. And Andrea, I think I've told you about this, is to look forward to the future and to envision what you want to see in your sobriety, how life could be in sobriety. Look forward, don't look backwards. We got a lot of shit in our past, but we can create wonderful things in our future. So I look at it this way. If you are told to drive a car to someplace, you got 2 hours, where are you going to end up in 2 hours? I have no idea if I don't know where I'm going. So if I don't know where I'm going, I don't know, I just drive mindlessly. And that's a lot of what happened to me when I started drinking. I had lost purpose. I didn't know where I was going, and I just ended up driving the alcohol. Um, and I ruined a lot of stuff in my life because of it. When I tell people that I talk to about sobriety, is in terms of that, is two things. How do you know where you're going if you don't have the destination in mind? The other thing is that you know the pain from drinking too much and everything you've lost is only going to get you so far, and then you have to switch your motivation, and that's to the things you see for the future, how good things can be, what you want. I got a tickly nose, it's driving me nuts. What you want for tomorrow, what you want your life to be like, and you have to look forward to those events, because that motivation has a lot more power to progress us, to help us keep our goals and to help us maintain sobriety. I Years ago, I was told that after giving birth, that you'll forget that pain before it's time to have the second kid, and I'll be darned if I didn't forget that pain. And then I have a friend who's also in recovery, and he says my what does he say? My forgetter is it works too well. I think that's what he says. My forgetter works too well. In other words, he's relapsed a couple times, and part of that is because he's forgotten how painful it was to to um, to be dependent on drugs and alcohol. So begin with the end in mind. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And Stephen Covey, in his book, I love this example. I've done this before. Um, I've for a class, a writing class that I had to do when I was in college. It was job was to write my eulogy. Think of myself. God, I was young then, 20 years, so 70, 80 years in the future. And what will everyone say at my funeral? And he talks about that. He asked, what will people say at your funeral? Have you ever thought what people will say at your funeral? And I see that I have someone else joining me. Unfortunately, I do not have um um I do not have oh God, the ability to see where you're coming from, but if you say hi in the chat, I will gladly acknowledge you. So thank you for joining either way. And yeah, here we are. I'm talking about Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but I've changed the title to 7 Habits of Highly Sober People. So we're talking about this in terms of recovery. And the topic is begin with the end in mind, and I'm talking about what will people at your funeral say, "This is the end." I don't think anyone agrees with me. When you're at your funeral, your casket, coffin, at your funeral. Um, I don't plan on being in a coffin. I'm cremated. But anyways, when you're in that casket at your funeral, and people are there, and they're getting ready to speak about you, and they're talking and mingling, and what are they saying about you? And for me, I don't want my mom to be saying, Gina was great when it came to giving me reasons to worry about, whether or not she was going to come home at night. And I don't want my children to say, yeah, my mom was wonderful until she got really drunk and started yelling at us. I don't think I did that too much, but I did other behaviors. In fact, my son was quite embarrassed with me some of the times, and I'm sure my daughter was when I was drinking. And I don't want them to talk about that at my funeral. I don't want my bosses to say, "Oh, she came in late quite a bit, but otherwise she was a good worker." I don't think I came in late too much, but I wasn't. I wasn't. I had some really bad days. And in fact, I had one day where I had a total meltdown, and that was because I was hungover. And then of course, in the end of my drinking, I really didn't have any friends. But what would they say? Gina was unreliable, independent, undependable. I don't know. I couldn't call Gina at 3 o'clock in the morning because she was probably drunk. So yeah, I didn't have many friends towards the end. I don't want any of these people saying this stuff at me at my funeral. This is not how I want to be remembered, as the alcoholic who died from liver failure, which is was very possible for me. It's probably not going to happen now. I hope, got my fingers crossed, because I don't drink. I don't mind being the person that they say was the alcoholic who recovered. I like the recovered part of that. The alcohol who recovered and went forward to help other people. This is how I want to see my funeral, and this is how I want people to talk about me at my funeral. And I have to live my life in accordance with that. So one of the reasons that this is important is when you imagine forward, imagine what can happen in your future, what your future is going to be like. You get to make decisions on your life based on that. If I want to be a famous writer and write my book about sobriety, which is in the works, I have part of it written, then I can't be drinking alcohol. If I want to be the great grandma that I'd always hoped that I would be, who takes her grandchildren on trips to see things that they wouldn't see otherwise, who is I have this dream of being that fun crazy grandma, the hippie grandma who does just weird things without alcohol, and that the grandchildren remember I had that grandma and I wanted to be that grandma. My Not all grandchildren remember her, but I wanted to be that grandma. So I want my grandchildren to have that grandma, but I can't do it if my family doesn't let me see them because I am too busy drinking. Someone has just joined. I don't see names on the device I'm using for recording this unless you're on Instagram. So if you could say hi in the chat, I would really appreciate it. I'd love to acknowledge you. Otherwise, thank you for joining. All right. So are you living in accordance with what you want your future to be like? And you can see that future, you can begin to identify how that's going to look, and the decisions you make, and the people you hang around, and whether or not you're going to drink today. And we talk about this in some of the programs, is tomorrow doesn't matter, today does. What am I going to do today? Live 24 hours at a time. Well, this 24 hours I will not drink, because in the future I want to be seen in a different light than crazy Jeanna who falls down on the grass or drops down a couple of stairs, not flights. I just dropped down 2 stairs and breaks ribs because she's too drunk to stand up straight. Anyways, if you know what you want, then them to say, you can create the life that reflects that. So that's what he's talking about in this idea of begin with the end in mind. So look forward to the future. And then he also talks about your center, and I don't know that this I mean, it does deal with this, and he talks about it in that chapter. Um, I guess knowing your center will help you create that future that you're looking for. So what he asks is, where is your center? A lot of people's center or focus is work. Others' focus is family, money, possessions. And what he says is that how you see one aspect of your life as your center reflects how you will see the other aspects of your life. If work is your center, then you very likely will not have any problem giving up on the family or setting the family aside so you can work the late hours. Or if family is your center, then you may skip work to go on a vacation or to take a day off to the beach with the kids. And and I'm not saying either one is bad, but you should, I do, take a good look at what my center is. What my center is. What am I willing to forego in other areas in order to focus on the things that I find important? Is work my center? Sometimes it is, and sometimes it causes problems. In fact, a lot of times it causes problems. One of the things I found is that I have trouble focusing on my granddaughter when she's here because I am more focused on what I'm not doing, getting work done in order to spend time with her. And I have to really pay attention to that. If money is my center and possessions are my center, then I work too much in order to obtain that, and forget about spending time with my mom, who is, I don't want to say is dying, but she's not early. She's not young. She's older than me, and I don't feel young anymore. Sort of, I a little do. So here's where I want to get to this, and that um, is your center alcohol? If your center is alcohol, and mine was while I was drinking, I put everything else below the alcohol, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I did not consciously say alcohol is most important to me in my life, but I did not go to bed on time the night before, so I could, without drinking, so I could not be hungover at work. I did skip out on a couple of very important events. I regret not attending for my daughter specifically, um, because while I didn't say alcohol was more important, that's what I did do instead, and I regret it. I regret it. So alcohol was my center, and everything else is affected by it. um, from the car you drive. If it's important for you to drive around in a really nice car, but you can't afford the payments because you're spending it on alcohol, it's affected. If you take a great vacation, but you find out that the flight's going to be 3 hours and you can't do 3 hours without alcohol, your vacation is going to be affected. And most of us do not realize that we put alcohol before everything else. But um, think about things that you have missed out on because you're drinking. And what Stephen Covey suggests is that we shift our center towards our principles. And I've done this and I live this way now. I didn't do it when I was drinking, but now I do. I shift my center to my values, which is the same thing as principles, but I focus on my values, and everything I do, I either consciously know or subconsciously know that that's going to go against my values, or I have to ask myself, is that going against my values? So, for example, my children are something I value them. And so when I have to decide between, you know, um, going out with friends, not out partying out. We do concerts in the park kind of stuff, but going out with them or something important that's happening with my children, I really have to think about that hard and weigh that so that my self-care is also taken care of. And he says when your center, where's your center is, I forgot what when you center your life on your correct principles, on your values, that everything else becomes more centered, more balanced. I took alcohol as a value directly out of my life, and yes, everything else has become more balanced. It's not fully balanced yet, but become a lot more balanced, and my life is has a lot less chaos in it because I have done this. So my values focus on my focus is on my values, which defines how I act in all areas of my life. One of the things that I've recently decided to do, I haven't contacted the person yet to do it. I'll probably do that after I get off of here, but and I've asked about it, and I want to volunteer some time at the local jail, um, putting in meetings, talking to people about recovery and stuff like that. And that makes me feel really good, really good. I also volunteer some time at a transitional living home. And guess what? I get a lot of joy out of that. Not always in the preparation phase, but definitely I always walk into the classroom. Andrew, you know about this because I love being in the classroom, but I always walk into the classroom and out of the classroom feeling a wonderful sense of purpose, as if, as if I've done something amazing. So, how do you focus um, on how do you turn your life focus on your values of your principles and your values, and how do you do that? And so the next part of it he talks about is creating a mission statement for yourself. This is a personal mission statement. I actually renew my mission statement every year, my personal mission statement every year, during my um, when I do my vision board at the first of the year. And I also, when I do that, renew my, what is it called, my logo, my motto. Renew my motto. And mottos, by the way, are very simple to do. It's what do you, I did it this way. What is important to you this year? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to focus on when you make decisions, or when so a couple years ago my motto was actually I can. And what happened was I got tired of people saying, no, you can't do this, no, you shouldn't do this, and you're going to fail at this. And I decided that that year I was going to do everything I wanted to do because actually I can. And that was kind of great because it gave me a lot of motivation to keep going, keep trying, and to step outside my boundaries. So um, this year, my motto is now sober, now what? Partly because that's the name of the membership we're doing, and a lot of what I do with now sober, now what? And that comes from the idea that I need to focus on, now that I'm sober, now what can I do? Now what can I do? Now sober, now how do I have fun? Now sober, now what's going to happen with relationships, and I start looking forward to all the things that I can do now that I'm sober. So that's what this year's motto is. I was talking about mission statements and I kind of ran off track, so let's kind of get back on that, so I can show you or tell you a little bit of how you can do a mission statement. One thing you can do, format and that kind of stuff, Google mission statement examples and templates, because they're done in a lot of different ways. But what I want to talk to you about is some of the things you might want to put in a mission statement, how to think about your mission statement. Generally, it starts a simple way is my mission is to. That's it. My mission is to, and then finish the sentence. What are your goals for the year? What are your goals for your life? What is it that you want to do, that you're on a mission to do? I think one of my mission statements is I'm on a mission to help 1,000 women recover from alcohol abuse and learn that they can build a life with purpose. I think that's how I wrote it, but you're supposed to be able to remember it and memorize it. But I got enough of what my mission statement is to get that right. So, anyways, what do you do? What do you think about when you're thinking about your mission statement? First of all, think about your future. Look forward. What do you want people to say about you at your funeral? If you don't have a pen and paper, you might grab one, take some notes. You can jot this down and do a bunch of writing. Make a list of all the things I'm talking about here. Come back and rewatch the video if you want more details. And I might you know what? I'll clip my notes here on this part of the mission statement into the comments, so that you actually can just go from that if you want. So think about your future. What do you want people to say to you or about you at your funeral? What do you want to purchase, to achieve, to how do you want to help people? How do you want to be remembered? Think about that. Write down a few things that I got to put my glasses on, Andrew, to read what you just said. Anyways, write about a few things that you want to happen in your life. She said recovered. That's what I want people to say about me. That's wonderful. That is exactly what I want people to say about me. um I don't mind, she had a tough life, but she recovered. That's the most important thing for me. Not totally the most important thing, but yes, absolutely is a great thing to have on your mission statement. Remember that phrase, because you might want to include it should you choose to write your mission statement. Anyway, so consider your values. What are your values? What do you find good about people? For me, to my values are to keep growing, to have an open mindset, and to keep growing in my knowledge, in my self-awareness. That is a huge value to me. Another value I have is to think. People say overthink. Well, yeah, many times I do overthink, but I hate the idea of underthinking, of just going with the flow, because it's too hard for you to think of the consequences, or of the alternatives, or I don't know. I value thought, critical thought. Value looking at both sides of an issue and deciding on what's right. I value my spirituality. I absolutely value my recovery, my sobriety. And so I look at all those things I value: church, family. If you value money, put it on your mission statement, or put it on your notes for the mission statement, and decide, it's important. It's something that's going to guide you in your future. And most importantly, I value purpose and helping other people out. I want to note that someone has joined me. I don't have the ability to see where you're from or your name, so I can't say hi. You are welcome to put it in the comments or tell me where you've joined from, and I will gladly acknowledge you. Until then, thanks for joining Now What with Jeanna out, where I say, offer tips, motivation, and say stupid shit about recovery. I'm a little out of that's like an old part. I'm not thinking about that. In the right now, I'm talking about how to write a mission statement for recovery, specifically for recovery. So consider your purpose. What is your purpose? I said I value my purpose, but what is my purpose? I decided realized a few years ago, that all the crap I had gone through in when I was drinking, and the hell I put myself through, the houses lost and the jobs not fulfilled. I decided that helping people not go through that or recover through that was my purpose. So you note about what is your purpose? My purpose is also to write a book that helps people in recovery. So it kind of fits along that same line. My purpose is, one of my purposes. I don't know if it's my purpose. It's not like the meaning of life purpose, but I want to travel, and I haven't done that thus far. Partly because I spent a lot of years drinking. The years that I would normally, I imagine myself traveling, and I spent drinking. So that is one of my purposes, and I would put that in my as a purpose. Consider your gifts and how you want to use them. I have been a writer, always been a writer. I think I say things that impact people when I write. I know I enjoy it. That is a gift. So I consider my gifts and how I want to use that gift, um, because I can give that to other people. Other gifts. I have empathy. I think I have empathy sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But that is a gift of mine that, in some situations, I guess that's it. I have empathy in some situations. In other situations, I struggle with it. But I can use that empathy to connect with people, especially with regards to sobriety and with regards to their struggles, with regards to their trauma. That is a gift. The fact that I've been through certain traumas that other people need help with, and I'm willing to talk about it. That is a gift. That is a gift. So, and I'm learning this year, thanks to Vince, that I'm fearful of a lot of things, but my gift is to be able to move past that and step forward and help people. I was afraid as hell to come on here and do my lives. That is a gift of mine. Andrea, can you tell me what gift you have? I know you have some gifts. We've talked about it before. But yeah, if you've got a gift that you want to share, please do so. But anyways, my fear, I had a lot of fears. Mine is to, oh, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one. This was kind of funny. The other night I was invited to dinner. And when I got from another woman, I don't get along so well with women. I don't get along. I'm not comfortable with them. And one of my goals this year is now sober. Now what? Learn how to talk to women. Learn to be comfortable around women. So she asked me to dinner, and I accepted, and then said, "Oh God, now what do I do?" And I'm not alone in this. I'm talking to a lot of women that are not comfortable being around women. But yeah, I said, "Okay, now what do I do? I don't. What am I? Do I take something? I don't know. I didn't know what to do, and I kind of panicked in it, and I went ahead and went to dinner, and I had a wonderful time, and I love her to death. And we've been friends a while, so it's not like I shouldn't have known what to do. It wasn't about her. It was about I had a fear and I stepped into it, and that is a gift. My ability to do that is a gift. Yes, Andrea, the drawing, makeup looks, pictures, etc. And I am still waiting to see your video on makeup. So just a challenge, an additional challenge to do one. Do one. And science, and that's going to help you in what you want to do with the nursing school. So that's wonderful. Um, all right. So you have to consider your commitment to your family and to the world. Your commitment to your family. My commitment is to be present. Again, not always successful, but my commitment is to be present when I am in their presence. And yeah, I could put that. Actually, my commitment to the world is to be present as much as I possibly can. It's not always easy. Not always easy. Sometimes we get lost in the past. We get pushed into the future. We start worrying about things that are going around us. And I'm a little Andrea. It's just anxiety. I'm not sure what that one's referring to. I would love to know. I might be misunderstanding something. So, but anyways, my commitment to my family and to the world is to be present, and my commitment to now sober is to do the best I can whenever I can. My commitment to you is to give you the best that I can. I don't want to offer false information. My son, as I said in the past, has this is one of my fears, by the way. My son committed suicide. One of my fears around that is that I will do more harm than good. And I'm committed the best I can, because in that case, if I'm talking to someone who's struggling with depression and I do more harm, it is a life-threatening situation, and I'm scared to death of that. But I'm doing my best to not put myself in, or not put someone else in any harm's way. That's my commitment. That is my commitment, and probably over anything else of commitments, I would put that one on there. Um, oh, yes. See, I'm glad you explained that. A fear is my fear. It's my fear that I'm gonna say something stupid as shit. It's in my intro that I will say stupid shit that I really regret. And as I said, one of my gifts is to move past my fears, and so I just acknowledge that that's a fear of mine, and that is very likely going to happen in my lives, and I do it anyway. So I'm gonna watch for your video, and I will say this: if they laugh at you, mm, who cares? Hopefully they laugh with me, but whatever. Um, all right. So that is some of the things you might want to consider in your mission statement, should you choose to write one. I'll tell you why it's important to write one in a second. I already did, I think, but I'm going to reiterate why it's important to write one. Look at your future. Make your mission statement inspiring. and treat it as a guide to your life. So look at your future. Look at what you want to do. Your mission. This is your journey. This is what you're going to do with your life. And definitely, at least this year, at least in your early recovery, definitely put something about your sobriety in there, about being recovered, about learning to be self-aware, learning to take care of yourself, something about that in your first mission statement, the one you put out right now, because it is your guide to how you will live your life. And then read it regularly. um because it helps to, it's the map. And if you shove the map in the glove compartment but you don't know the directions, or you forget the directions, you don't know where you're going to end up. You're going to drive for a couple hours at no particular destination and be surprised. And the surprise could be bad. The surprise, I lost my purpose. The surprise ended up being very bad, because that's when I started drinking. So I'm losing my voice and my throat. I'm going to move on wrapping this up. And anyways, if you have any questions about mission statements, you honestly, you can't do it wrong. You really can't do it wrong. You just, my mission is to, and what is your goal? What do you want to do? How do you want to live your life? Just include some of those things in here in your mission statement. Hold on a second. And then write it out. Put it on a board in front of you, on your computer. I've got mine on my vision boards, which you can't see, but it's right there next to me. I got a couple years worth over there. Actually, I think I might have another one behind there. Anyways, so put the mission statement on your life. Read it on a regular basis. Put a copy of it in your glove compartment if you need to, or in your wallet. And keep it in mind, because that's how you want to live your life. Moving in a direction that's going to get to the future that you visualize today. And I promise, there's no need to visualize a bad future. We do it when we start ruminating, but we don't want to. There's no point in it. It hasn't happened yet. So why worry about stuff that hasn't happened? I was taking a shower earlier today, and for some reason I got this I got this thought of losing my daughter, and it's like my biggest fear. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, that's really stupid. She's I can't determine whether or not it's going to happen. I can't do anything else, anything to fix it if it is going to happen, and it probably is not going to happen. So why am I worrying about it today? All right. Oh, another thing Stephen Covey, I think he said this, is you have to get out of the past in order to get into the future. We spend a lot of our time in the past. All right. So activity is to take a little time to write a mission statement. Also, and I was going to try and say this and I kept forgetting, revise that mission statement. It's going to change. Your goals are going to be different. Today you might want to be a famous writer. That's me. Tomorrow I might want to be a director of a movie. I don't know, but my vision statement will revise as time goes on. Actually, very much will revise. I wrote a mission statement. My first mission statement I wrote when I was drinking. I think I wrote it drunk. And yeah, I don't know where it is. And I think that's a good thing, because it's not the guide I want for my life today. So revise the mission statement. And last but not least, captions. I have got some notes here. And there it is. I'm sorry, Andrea, on Instagram, you can't see the little screenshots. I'm trying to figure out a way to fix that. But to get more of Now What with Jeanna, hit subscribe, or follow or like, or whatever channel you're on. I'm on several channels. You can find replays of this I think you can find them on all the channels, but specifically, if you'd like, go to YouTube. I have an entire library over there. I think I hit 99 videos the other day. So I'm really excited about that. I don't know. I'm going to take a look again to make sure it was 99, but I'm pretty sure it was 99 videos the other day. So you can find me there. Just look for Now What with Jeanna. Now Sober. I'm sorry, Now Sober. Look for Now Sober. Actually, you might be able to Google Now What with Jeanna at this point and find something there as well. and join me. Now, notice, I need to give you guys a little notice. I will be going live starting next week, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. There's a couple reasons for this. The first reason is when we get the academy up and running. It was supposed to start this week, but I've got a little more work to do. But when we get that up and running, I will be in there in Now Sober Academy on Thursday nights, Tuesday nights. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I understand better time to go on live, then I might get more people stopping in, a bigger audience. I'm trying some different time frames to see if I can get some more visibility in here and help more people. And then that's it, I think I got for that. So if you have a question you'd like me to answer, talk about, feel free to ask it in the comments or message me or however you want to do it. You can email me, Jeanna at nowsobercoach.com. Whatever you'd like. I'm looking for next week's topic now, because I've got 5 more on the Stephen Covey project. Maybe that's what I'll call it, Stephen Covey project. I got 5 more habits. Next week's habit is to put first things first. To put first things first. And that is about paying attention to priorities. I think that's what it's about. Paying attention to priorities. I think it's about some other stuff as well. But yeah, that's the general gist of what it's about. I usually talk about 3 or 4 topics or items in the when I talk on these about the Stephen Covey thing. Also, here's a thought that I'm not ready to do because I got 5 more habits to go. But here's a thought: if you have a book that you'd like to see reviewed, discussed, talked about in these Now What's these live episodes, let me know. Maybe I'll put it on for the next topic to discuss. I don't know. Just let me know, and I'm open to suggestions. And there we go. Last things last, I have a website, and it is nowsobercoach.com. Go over and take a look at it and see if there's something we can work with you with. I do private coaching. We are working on Now Sober Academy, and that is a more affordable group project and with classes and lessons. And I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye because I might have an episode of Walking Dead that I need to catch up on. So we will talk to you later. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Andrea. I'm going to be working on finishing this up and making sure everything's posted and get those messages to those suggestions I put for your mission statement to look at. And but I'll be hanging around. So if you want to talk, just give me a ring or a message or whatever. All right. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful night. Stay sober, at least for the next 24 hours. And then if you can do the 24, you can do 48. And if you can do 48, my math's bad, you can do 96. Did I do it right? 48. Yeah, I think that's right. All right. Bye.